Do you love fresh, vibrant shrimp tacos, but not the heartburn that often comes with them? Well, me too, which is why I came up with this incredibly flavor-rich and nutrient-dense recipe for gluten-free, heartburn-free shrimp tacos. They have all the classic flavors, but are easy on the spices and ingredients that can upset digestion. They include juicy, perfectly seasoned shrimp, a high-protein lime crema with cottage cheese, thinly sliced crunchy cabbage or romaine lettuce, and lightly pan-fried corn tortillas. They provide the perfect mild base that you can easily add more spice to. Now your whole group can devour shrimp tacos that they can customize to their own personal spice preference. We're going to begin with 1 pound of shrimp. Now I have found it most economical to buy the large frozen bag of shrimp, and they're already peeled and deveined. So all I had to do was let them soak in a bowl of lukewarm water for a few minutes, and they quickly thawed down. And then I laid them out onto this paper towel to dry. So in a medium-sized bowl, we're going to create a really simple but flavorful marinade, and then let our shrimp soak in them while we're getting our other ingredients ready. We're going to start with 3 tablespoons of oil, and my favorite is light olive oil. Then we're going to simply add a teaspoon of onion powder, a teaspoon of garlic powder, and 2 teaspoons of cumin. And then we'll just quickly whisk these together. That's already starting to smell good. And then to really enhance the flavor of our shrimp, we're going to take some coarse sea salt, and we're going to sprinkle this all over them, as well as a few dashes of pepper. And I'm going to kind of flip them over. Make sure they're all well salted. And then we'll just dump our shrimp into our marinade and then give them a stir so they're all well coated. And then we'll set these aside so they can just soak in all that flavor while we prepare the rest of our ingredients. And to make our crispy coleslaw, we're gonna go ahead and just cut a cabbage in half, and then we're gonna cut it into fourths. And then you can see that the core is right down here in kind of a triangular shape. So go ahead and just cut out that triangle. Kind of looks like a pyramid. Now to get those super fine shreds of cabbage, you can either cut them with a knife or you can use a mandolin slicer. So I'll go ahead and show you how this works. And this is my favorite because it's made out of stainless steel. And it just has this little lever to lower to stabilize it. And then it has this adjustable wheel which adjusts the height and thickness of the slices. So I'm going to make those probably about 1/8 of an inch. And then of course has this very fashionable glove, which will protect your fingers. Make sure we put that on. We're gonna take our cabbage and just find an edge and then just slice it on our mandolin. And then we have all this perfectly thinly sliced cabbage. And we can go ahead and just transfer this to a mixing bowl. Now if cabbage isn't your favorite and you'd like to have a more mild option, you can go ahead and use a head of romaine lettuce. And if you just kind of hold it tight together like this, you can use the exact same chopping technique on the mandolin. And we have all this finely chopped romaine lettuce that has the same size and texture as the cabbage. Now to make our lime crema, you'll need a blender or a food processor. I'm just going to use the chopper cup that comes with my immersion blender. And then we're going to add 1/4 cup of cottage cheese. Now if you're like me and not crazy about the curdled texture of cottage cheese, don't worry, because as we blend this together, it's going to eliminate that texture. It'll just be smooth and creamy, and then we get all the health benefits of the cottage cheese. Then we'll add 1/4 cup of Greek yogurt. And this again is going to add even more nutrition as well as a creamy texture. Now you could use all Greek yogurt instead of cottage cheese, or you could use all cottage cheese instead of Greek yogurt, depending on your preference. But I like half and half. And then to add that vibrant, delicious flavor, we're gonna slice in half 1 lime. And then we're gonna squeeze all of the juice of 1/2 into our bowl. I love this part because then you get all that lime juice on your fingers, and then they smell so good the rest of the day. Coconut lime hand lotions are always my favorite. Then to get even more delicious flavor, we're gonna go ahead and add 1 clove of garlic. Go ahead and peel this guy. And to give my chopper a head start, I'll go ahead and dice it just a little. And then we'll add that to our bowl. And then to bring in even more fresh flavor, we're going to add 1/2 cup of cilantro leaves. Again, I'll just do a really rough chop on these to give our chopper a head start. Love that smell. But if cilantro isn't your favorite, you could use parsley instead. And then for seasoning, we're going to add 1/4 teaspoon salt, just a dash of onion powder, and 2 tablespoons of olive oil. And extra light is my favorite. This will just help add to the creamy texture. And then a couple dashes of pepper. And then we'll simply put on our lid and blend until smooth. Ooh, that looks creamy and delicious, and I wish you could smell this. That smells so good. And now we can bring in our bowl of chopped coleslaw, and then we'll want to add about 2 tablespoons of our dressing. And we can give that a mix, and then we can always add more if needed. And then I'm also going to add a little bit to our bowl of romaine lettuce. And then we can set these aside. Now it's time to cook our shrimp and warm up our tortillas. Now these shrimp are going to cook very quickly once we get started, so we want to have everything ready. I'll be using my cast iron pan because it can handle the real high heat, which will give a really delicious char to the shrimp. Give another quick spray with my avocado oil. So I'm going to go ahead and just put 3 of my tortillas in and just let them sit until they start to soften. And then we can go ahead and just flip them over. You can see they have just a nice little brown color on them, which is what we're looking for. And they have a little bit of oil on them without being completely drenched, which is my preference. I can go ahead and just transfer them to a little plate here with a paper towel on it. Let's go ahead and stack these up. And now that our tortillas are all toasted, we can go ahead and cook our shrimp. I'm gonna give it another quick spray with the avocado oil. Start in a clockwise pattern so that I know which ones need to be turned first. Ooh, and that sizzle is exactly what we want to hear. I'm putting them in the center last because I know those shrimp are going to cook the fastest. You can see how quickly they're already starting to turn pink. These only take a minute or 2 to cook all the way through. Take a little peek. Oh yeah, ready to turn. You can see that beautiful char that we got from a hot pan and the oil and the spices that our shrimp marinated in. All right, we'll give those about 30 seconds to get a little bit color on their other side, and then these shrimp are done. We do not want to overcook them because then they can become a little bit rubbery. So I'm going to go ahead and start taking out the shrimp from the outer edge that are all done. And I'll just transfer them to a plate. And then we want them to just sit and soak in all of their delicious juices. Well, that's an incredible looking plate of shrimp, and we were able to cook those in only 2 to 3 minutes. But before we can assemble our tacos, we have a few more fresh ingredients to prepare. Tomatoes are optional, but I think they add really delicious flavor as well as color to these tacos. And I'm going to chop them really thin so that they're really easy to bite in the taco. And then to help minimize adding any excess liquid into the taco, I'm going to go ahead and transfer them onto a paper towel. And this is just going to help soak up any extra juice. Now you could use your favorite salsa instead, but I find that having just some simple fresh tomatoes really helps the taco be a little bit easier to digest and still adds delicious fresh flavor. And to make these tacos even more nutrient dense and creamy and just absolutely amazing, we're going to add some thinly sliced avocado. So I can go ahead and cut my avocado in half, twist off 1/2, and then to have some really nice long slender pieces, I'm going to go ahead and just leave it in the peel, and then with my knife I'll just go in and make some really narrow slices of avocado. I'm just being very loose with my knife and being careful not to cut through the skin or my hand. And then I'll give it just a little wiggle to help loosen up those pieces, and then just take a nice spoon and very easily spoon them right out. And then we have these nice thin slices that are ready to go into our tacos. And last but not least is the cheese. And I love using this COTIJA cheese. It just adds a really delicious, soft, and kind of smoky flavor. So I'm just going to take my grater, and this cheese is very crumbly, and it doesn't take much to crumble it through your grater. It just has a really delicious flavor and soft texture in the taco. Now that we have all of our components, we're ready to boogie on these tacos. So we'll start with one of our gluten-free corn tortillas, and then I'm going to add just a little bit of our lime slaw. And it's nice having those long strands because they just fit nice and neat inside the taco. And then we're going to add about 3 shrimp. Oh my goodness, those look so good. Now we'll add 2 thin slices of our avocado. Having them nice and thin and long just makes them fit right in along this side. And then we'll sprinkle in just a few of our finely chopped tomatoes. And we can sprinkle in just a little bit more of our lime cottage cheese crema on top. And then we can sprinkle some of our COTIJA cheese, which just takes this to another level. I think my stomach just growled. I've been waiting all afternoon for this. That is so good. Honestly, this is one of the most delicious things that I make. That has so much incredible flavor. As soon as you bite in, you get those delicious spices that are on the shrimp, and then you crunch and get the coleslaw. And then it just has that really creamy lime dressing that has the cilantro in it. And then you get that smooth flavor coming in from the avocado. and then that cheese on top just really brings it all together. And then the soft texture of the tortilla just kind of blends with everything and makes it one complete delicious bite. That is seriously amazing. And for all of you that need an option that's a little more gentle on digestion like I do, this definitely hits the spot. There's so much flavor in there, but without some of the stronger ingredients that can sometimes upset digestion. And it's so easy to drizzle on an additional sauce that has a little more spice and heat to it for those who love spice. Now you can make shrimp tacos that can make everyone happy and that they are going to absolutely love. And you'll have the peace of mind of knowing that you're eating these clean, simple ingredients that are going to make you feel great. Well, thank you so much for hanging out with me today in my kitchen to make these tacos. And if you'd like to see the full recipe card, I've included a link in the video description below. And it's on my website, gentletummy.com. And I also invite you to like and subscribe to my channel. And if you know someone else who you think would love this recipe, please share this video with them. And I cannot wait to have you hang out with me again in my kitchen next time.